a marketplace where everybody's crying and singing the blues, the man behind me takes 4 listings last week. 4 listings last week. He's not involved in the market. What he's involved in is working smart, working hard, being diligent, being enthusiastic, understanding that this market isn't going to change and now he's going to adapt to this marketplace. He's an ultimate prospector. He's ultimate in his knowledge and thirst for lead generation. And I think you have something great to hear from this gentleman, Mr. Elgin.
Thanks, everybody. And first thing I'd like to say is just, well, good afternoon. Are we the afternoon yet? Close enough? Right? Okay. But one thing I would like to do is, one, hope you guys know I like to walk around a little bit. So I hope you don't mind. I hope I don't scare anybody in doing so. Okay. And no, it's not because I'm nervous. It's just because that's what I do. First thing I'd also like to do is I'd like to thank Gene and Mike and Steve and our on-me guests, one for not only speaking great and giving you some great information, but also allowing me to come here and speak to you guys today. I also would like to really acknowledge Gene Bleeker for a couple of things, and one in particular. I think that Gene has been on the forefront of taking us as agents, taking businesses, and forcing us to network, forcing us to look within each other and work together and actually bring, monies, synergy, and things to the Valley. And I think that we all really need to acknowledge Gene and give him a great round of applause for that. Gene, thank you very much. So, Gene told me that there were 105 people RSVP for this. So the first thing I asked him was, did you tell him it was me? And he said, yeah. And I said, and they still RSVP? And he said, yes. I said, okay. So then what do? It's like, I guess I really need to come up with a presentation. I really need to have something to say, right? So of course, I sit up. I write this presentation. I go through all these notes. I said, I've got all this to say. And when I started doing that, I decided, you know what, that was too much. So I condensed the presentation down to this. One is because I feel a little bit more natural that way. I feel a bit more natural the way I'm speaking. I don't want to speak to you guys as something that's canned, but it's something that is prepared. So what I'd like to discuss, as Gene said, he put me on the spot as prospecting in 2011. Like there was something different in 2011 than there was in 2010, 2009, 2008, or the last 24 years that I've been doing this. Prospecting is prospecting. We're going to discuss a couple of elements here. One, we're going to talk about personal contact and your database or your contact management system and what you're doing to hopefully cultivate and generate leads. We're also going to talk about social media, different types of ways that hopefully you're using social media, and the internet. And when I say and the internet, yes, I know social media is on the internet, but if you really have a strategy or strategies to what you're doing, they're just different components of that. It's just not to say I'm on the internet, or just not to say I'm on Facebook. Okay, great. And who's not? And what are you doing with it? So we're going to try to talk about a few of those things today. One of the first things, though, that I would like to tell you is, for those of you that are nervous about prospecting, we're not going to really just talk about prospecting. I would like to change your mindset about the word prospecting. I'd like to change your mindset to something that has helped me, which is lead generation. Now, you may say that's a play on words. You may say that they're one and the same. And if they are to you, that's great. To me, particularly that I'm old, I know I look really young, but because I'm old, or better yet, maybe old school. Okay, old school. I was taught prospecting, you're looking at doing effective, high impact stuff. I mean, let's talk about some of the stuff we do. Anybody give me some ideas? What's an effective prospecting tool? What? Cold calling, door knocking, open houses. So most of you guys are doing no effective prospecting anyway, so I don't really have to go through this, right? What about expired listings for sale by owners? Just in your face, contacts. And that's what we consider prospecting, right? Well, let me ask you a question. if you get a prospect, an expired or for sale by owner or whatever, they don't list with you or buy from you right at that particular moment. You put them in some sort of a system. Thank you, Steve. You put them in some sort of a system that you're working and following up with, correct? So now what do you consider somebody? You just walked into Starbucks. You're in the grocery store. You're here at the restaurant when it's just not locked down for realtors. And you meet somebody. However you meet them. You guys connect. You exchange information. You put those people into a system. Is that considered a lead? Yes. So if that's considered a lead, now that lead, is that a lead an expired? Is that lead a for sale by owner? Is that lead, not necessarily someone that you just met in some manner, right? Do you treat that lead the same as you would treat your cold call lead, your physical lead, your expired lead? They're still in your system, right? You're still going to do follow-up. You're going to work with them. So to me, if you keep the mindset that you're lead generating and that prospecting to me is an action or a part or things that you do to help you generate leads. So when I grasped that philosophy, that expanded my mind as far as things that I could do, things that I need to do to possibly gain additional business, you know, work a little bit smarter, and also realize that everyone is a quote-unquote potential prospect because I'm trying to get them to generate leads. Now, I will tell you, everything that we're trying to talk about, and the first two things we spoke here, don't mean anything if you don't do the last thing that we're going to spend and tie into everything that we do. That's to follow up, to follow up, to follow up, and continue to follow up. Because trust me, if you do not follow up, the first two things we're talking about, they mean nothing. Any other lead generation, prospecting, things that you're doing, if you're not following up, it means absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, so for instance, y'all just meet somebody I already know it. So I say, hi, my name is Elgin, how are you? Good, great. Now, I followed up, I met Linda. Now I do nothing else. Is Linda a lead for me? No. Absolutely not. Now let's say I take Linda and I put her into my contact manager or database system. Is she now a lead for me? Yes? Yes. Maybe. Absolutely. Absolutely. If you didn't hear, she said, if you do something with it. If you do something with it. So first of all, I'd like just by show of hands, how many people here are using some sort of a contact manager program, some sort of a database? Okay. For those of you who didn't raise your hand, that should be the first thing you do. You got to have somewhere to put the leads. Now, let me ask you this. For those of you that have a contact management system, how many of you also have a system to follow up on your leads when you get the contacts or you get your leads into a system? Okay, a few more hands went down. So for those of you that have a contact management system of some sort, and you are putting leads into them, but you're not working them, or your contact manager system is not working for you, really what you have is just storage. Right? I mean, there's no difference in taking a name, a phone number, and putting it into a fancy a top producer or whatever you're using. There's no difference from that than writing it on the back of a business card, writing something down on a napkin, putting it in a notebook, slamming it together, and saying, here's my book of leads. Just have a shoebox full of stuff. There's no difference because that shoebox is going to work for you as much as that database system is if you're not working that database. Am I correct? So let's talk about personal contact and that database. Besides the normal stuff that we've talked about, effective, quote-unquote, high-impact prospecting that we all know we can and should do, some people give me some other things that you may do as far as possibly meeting and putting people in the database. What are some of you guys doing through your lives on a daily basis right now to help feed your system? Can anybody give me any ideas? Anybody have your kids? You have kids? Anybody get a kid? Any of your kids play or any sports activities? For those of you that might know me, that know that my daughter's plight when she was playing basketball, man, you know, we were working that basketball team, her little basketball program, we get 5-6 deals a year out of that. That's a small team. If you got if your kids are in soccer, I mean, sororities, fraternities, speech and debate, I mean, all these things. Are you guys actually talking and working with the people that you know every day? People that already know you, already love you, already trust you for something. No, 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 no. You're going to go out and you're going to look at all these people that don't know you for me or anybody else, and you won't talk to, look at people that are already in your own sphere right now. You heard Gene, Mike, you hear people mention about, it's obviously Steve and Shelley talking about short sales. Shelley's telling you guys about getting NOD lists, things like that, which is a great opportunity. But let me ask you something. Have you sold a house in the last few years? You have a short sale client. You have a short sale client. You've got family, you've got friends, you've got people that you already know that are short sale potential clients. If you're willing to look and work that marketplace, you've got people in your database system right now that need your help. They need your help. Now, they're not necessarily going to raise their hand and call their best friend, the realtor, and say, I'm behind on my payment, I can't make it, I'm struggling, can you come help me? How many of us are taught to do that? What are we taught to do from the time we're little? And we're talking, when you have something going on, you don't necessarily share that. You keep it within your family. You keep it within your family. I'm going to work it out. I don't want you to know that I'm having this tough time. That's what we do. We keep it to ourselves. So why do you think your clients whom you sold the home to 5 years ago, that's worth 50% less today than it was then, you're not the first person they're calling? Why? Well, some of them blame you. Don't blame me. They blame you. But if they don't rather blame you or not blame you, the truth of the matter is they're embarrassed. They're embarrassed. They're embarrassed to know that they maybe feel you did a really good job. You helped them get into a piece of property. Here they are. But now they're very embarrassed. They're very embarrassed to talk to you. They're very embarrassed to talk to anybody about it. But if you continuously follow up with them, talk to them about it, inform them, give them information, know what's going on in the marketplace, odds are you've got a better opportunity to get them to raise their hand than not. But back on track to our database systems. We figured out we're getting our contacts, however we're getting our contacts, and we're putting them into our system. So if we put them into our system, whether you're using Top Producer, you have anything else, it's like, Elgin, follow up, now what do I do? What do I do? It's not that I don't want to follow up, I just don't know what to do. Is anybody like that? I got the lead, I've got somebody, now what? Well, what we do is we actually use what we call an 8x8 system and a 33-touch system. Yes, it's a system that we use at Keller Williams, but it's a system you can use anywhere. You can call it whatever you want to call it. You can make up whatever you want to make up. The bottom line is doing something. So what do I mean by an 8x8 system? An 8x8 system is if I just meet someone, I want to reach out and I want to touch them 8 times in 8 weeks. Now, when I say touch them, I don't mean you run over to them and you got to touch them. Touching them means that you want to get in front of people at least 8 times in 8 weeks. And you know why? How many times have you walked up and met someone and you walked away 5-10 minutes later and you couldn't even remember their name? Now just think about it. You couldn't remember their name and they're quote unquote possibly your lead. Why do you think they remember you? Because after they met you, they met her, they met him, they met her, they met him. They're meeting people too. And everybody says, I'm a realtor, I'm the greatest, I'm #1, I'm the best in Santa Clarita Valley. Everybody's telling them the same thing. Why are they going to remember you out of the other people that they've just met, right? So what's the first thing that you should do? In my opinion, I should say the first thing that I do.
Thank you.
The first thing that I do is, that's what I do, is a thank you note. Everybody, when they first get into my database system, they will get a handwritten, personal thank you note. Handwritten, personal thank you note. By the way, how much does that cost? 44 cents, whatever the stamp is now, and the cost of a card. My cards are not fancy. Staples, the ones that are like $2.99 when they're on sale for a pack of 15, those are my personal note cards. Right? Now, if you want to be fancy, and maybe you want to spend a little money, and you want to be maybe a little bit more memorable to it, how about adding a $5 Starbucks card? How about adding a $2 or $3 Jamba Juice card? I'm not talking about spending a lot of money. Anything I talk about today, by the way, is going to be low cost to free. So you have a personal note, you send them something. And if you don't send them something, just send them a business card. That's okay too. But now what's the next thing you do? We're talking about 8 touches. What's the next thing you do? You sent them a personal note. I'll tell you what I do. Now this is going to... This is going to sound like really crazy, but after sending them a personal note, you know what I do? I call them. I mean, you got to call? Yeah, no, call them. I mean, I have to pick up the phone, and I call them. And you guys will say, Elgin, you call them, but what do you say? Well, yeah, I don't know what to say when I call them. I say, yeah, I mean, well, let's start off with just hi. I mean, some of us get on the phone, we just look at it. Hi. But absolutely, we start with hello. There's, hi, Mike, this is Elgin. I just wanted to make sure that you got the personal note that I sent you. I want to make sure I had the correct information when I sent you the note out. Go into your conversation from there. Now, if you happen to do what I do, and you happen to send out a Starbucks card, or you send out something with your card, generally after I say that, what do they say? They say, oh yes, you know what, thank you, we got your card, we appreciate that, that was great. Fantastic. So whatever in your conversation, that's your second touch. Okay? I'm not going to go through all 8 touches, but you guys get the idea. The idea is that you're not doing anything that's creating magic. What are you doing? You're establishing yourself and you're building a relationship with someone, so hopefully they remember you, hopefully at the time when they need you, and more importantly than that is when it's time for them to refer, when they're thinking about somebody. They want to think of you like we think of Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. You guys all know the Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi story, right? No? Well, think about it. You go into the restaurant, you come here to eat. Generally, you'll ask for a Diet Coke. If the waiter or waitress says they don't have Diet Coke, you generally ask for Diet Pepsi. If they say they don't have Diet Pepsi, do you then go for Diet Dr. Pepper, Diet 7-Up, Diet? No. If you go 2 times, the next question is, well, what do you have? Well, realistically, when you're talking to clients and clients will look at you, they think of 2 of us. So what do I want to be? I want to be Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. I want the opportunity when they do have a real estate need that hopefully there's really only one other person that's my competition. So then at that particular point, it's up to which one of us connects best, which one of us has the best skill set, which one of us works a little bit better with that particular client at that time. Now, in my particular situation, we will use our 8x8 system, and your 8x8 system will be different and it will vary from whatever the type of client and where you're putting them at in your contact management system, in your database. But then we go to what we call a 33-touch system. Does anybody have any idea what a 33-touch system is? That's not your Keller Williams. Don't you guys say nothing. A 33-touch system obviously is pretty much similar as an 8x8. What a 33-touch system is, you want to quote-unquote touch somebody 33 times in a 12-month period. 33 times! What am I going to say for 33 times? Remember, we're trying to come up with a system. So you're not going to do something different necessarily for everybody 33 times. And let's really break down a quote-unquote 33 touch. If you touch somebody, quote-unquote, call, email, an email, by the way, is what I consider an extra touch. I consider it very low impact. But email, newsletter, whatever you do, we're only talking about 3 times. That's 36 times in a year. That's 36 times a year. So let me ask you, would you rather spend 12 cents on, I'm just going to be 46 cents on personal notes, newsletters and stuff you guys are already doing, stuff that you're already doing? Would you rather spend money to people that are already in your database system, that you already established a relationship, that already know who you are and know what you do? Or would you rather go and sit by and get all the stuff we get in emails for all the additional money they want us to spend? How come everybody thinks that the real estate agents right now are still making a whole lot of money all the time? Does that happen to you? Are they calling you and coming by and they got all these silver bullets and they want you to buy this and buy that? And I got the next pill to this, it's only $1,000. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So you'd rather go out, though, and spend money on some of those types of things. Now, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm saying it for myself personally. You'd rather go out and spend money on that than to actually have people that you already have connected with that you can spend less money, contact on a more frequent, strategic, effective, and efficient manner that will give you business, will refer you to people. I mean, it's very cost effective. It's very systematic. Is it easy? No. Is it simple? Yes. But let's talk about the 33 touch. One of the things that I personally use, and I do use the On Me campaign. Now I use it in a couple of ways. Now you think about it. If you're in the On Me campaign, that's 1 touch, right? That's 1 touch a month. So that's 12. I mean, we're almost there. We're at 12. In my On Me campaign, not only do when I say use the On Me campaign, I know everybody, does the social media thing and they're putting it on Facebook and all that stuff is great. I mean, I'm talking about really using it though. I'm talking about not only using it and mailing it out as a touch into your database. How about when you're writing some of these personal notes and you don't have money to go to get or don't want to get the $5 Starbucks card? What if your personal note has one of the On Me cards in it, one of the On Me coupons? What if the people that are top people in your database system are getting the On Me campaign handwritten to them every month? Like I'm writing 50 of those a month and sending out 50 of them personally to 50 people that are in my database who I feel are my quote-unquote most important clients. Yes, some clients are more important than others. Yes, they are. I know. We want to say everybody's all equal with that. Listen, you don't treat Michael Jordan the same way you treated Horace Grant. I mean, there's somebody that's a superstar. And if somebody's referred me 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 deals, they're a superstar. And they're more of a superstar than the person that bought the house for me last month. Great, I appreciate you. It's a wonderful thing. I want to develop more of a relationship with you. This person's never bought a house for me, but they're a Raven fan. They're supposed to get something extra. I mean, they might get a $20, Booker card. I mean, they're going to get something extra, right? If you're doing out, say, just an email or just a newsletter along with your On Me campaign. Now we're at what? 24 touches, right? We're at 24. We've got two small things, and now that are systematic, that can take you just a few minutes to do each month if you put them into a system, and you have your database, you put your system together, that's 24 touches. Let's say you don't do 36. Let's say you just do 24. You just do 2 times a month. Right now, by show of hands, how many of you are consistently talking to your database and they're getting good information from you and or phone calls or whatever, 24 times a year, 2 times a month? So if you only do a 24 touch, are you doing a little bit better than the most people are doing? Our odds are for just a 24 touch, will you possibly get a few more deals and will you possibly get a little bit more business? Let me ask you a question. If you've already built a relationship with someone and you're already on their list, when it's time to go over for a listing presentation, what does that listing presentation sound like? That listing presentation is pretty much a come list me. That's a come by. I'm talking to somebody that I already know. They've already decided that they're going to do business with me. They're going to make sure I still look like the picture I've been sending out. That's important. They're going to want to know that I obviously still have some product knowledge, but more of my conversation on my listing presentation is about what I can do to help them solve their problem. What can I do to help them? It's not just sitting there where I'm going over, my website and my flyers and I'm going over all of what I'm going to do and my 22-point marketing plan. It's none of that. Because particularly in this market, they don't want to hear all that. They want to know, what can you do for me? Help me solve my problem. Right? Follow up, follow up, follow up. Let's talk a little bit about social media. Social media and the internet. So how many of us right now are using social media for something? How many of us are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter? I'm on it. I don't know what to do with Twitter yet, but I'm on it. Foursquare and 7 years ago and all this other kind of stuff. There's a whole lot of social media, right? That's great. But now, do any of you have a strategy that you're using with your social media other than just posting stuff about what's going on in your life and doing jokes and et cetera, and all the other good things that we do in our social media forum? Okay? And our internet systems. How many of us have websites? Now, your websites, are they cultivating any business for you? Are they generating any business for you? Or do you basically have an online billboard? How does anybody find you online? Are you paying a whole lot of pay-per-clicks, SEOs? Are you doing all this stuff? Are you doing any of this stuff? Okay. Let's start with social media. Now, I want you guys to know I'm not some web guru. I'm also not somebody that knows all the ins and outs, technical things of how things work and all that. And for my personality, I'm a high D. I'm like the guy that just jumps in the water and I'll figure out the temperature when I'm in it. But I know I got to swim, so I just start swimming. So for me, a lot of stuff I've done is done by trial and error. But I will tell you that the internet, social media forums have been a great and a fantastic resource for me right now in actually generating business and actually generating leads and people actually asking and wanting to list or buy homes, from us. So, number one, in my opinion, first thing you have to do with social media is we've got all of this stuff somehow within your own systems, or talk to somebody that knows how to do it better than you and pay them one time, and don't pay them a lot of money, because you don't have to pay a lot of money, because there's kids and college students and other people out there that know how to do this. You want to funnel all that stuff into one place. I mean, think about it. How many you go, is there anybody in here that's a Facebook friend of mine? There's a few, right? So doesn't it seem like I'm on Facebook like all the time? Just like every 5 minutes, I'm getting something on Facebook, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. I'm all over the place, right? Anybody familiar with a product called Hootsuite? If you're not familiar with a product called Hootsuite, you can Google it, go, and Hootsuite is a free app. And basically with Hootsuite, what you can do is you can put all your social media forums in one place, and you can actually put in what you want to update, when you want it to update. You can do stuff out weeks, months at a time. Whatever time you want it to go out, whenever it's go out, you do it one time, and you're done. So yeah, it seems like I'm on Facebook all the time. I'm not on Facebook all the time. I'm out there making contact. But you're on Facebook or wherever you're on, and you're on all of your media forums. You're on all your media stuff. Anybody familiar with Ping? Ping.fm? If you're not familiar with Ping, the difference between Ping and Hootsuite is you can connect everything to your Ping to everything, but one time you do whatever and it goes everywhere.
So you're saying the word Christine Sex or real estate executives. Hoot, H-O-O-T, sweet.
That's correct.
Not sour. Okay.
Right.
And then Ping.
Ping, P-I-N-G, dot F-M.
What's the Hoot?
Hoot is H-O-T-T-S-U-I-T-E. Right, yes. Hoot, like hoot, and sweet, like Hyatt. Hoot sweet. But check it out. You guys check it out, and you'll see. How many of you guys have a YouTube channel? Anybody have a YouTube channel? How many of you guys effectively are using your YouTube channel in your marketing? Did you know that your YouTube channel can connect directly to your Facebook? Did you know your YouTube channel can connect to your Twitter? Do you know that you can upload one time on your videos to YouTube, and your YouTube can also go out to all your social media forums? Did you also know that you can actually, depending upon what you're using for a blog, that when you use YouTube, you can have your YouTube go directly to your blog. And your blog can be hooked up to everything that we're talking about right now. We're talking about going one place, hooking up whatever you're talking about, whatever is video, whatever you're going to do, and it goes out to all the people that you wanted to go out to. It goes all out into the web. By the way, every time that you put something where it goes all out in the web, particularly when it goes to something with video, and if you're using your name, you're using certain keywords, you're saying certain things, you used to just have to use those meta tags things. But now when you are speaking and you're using your words, your online content, do you know that the Google spiders, whatever they are, actually pick you up and strive you and put you up further in the search engines? If you ever go to Active Rain and look at the Active Rain and my blogs and all the other kind of stuff, I've never spent $1 on it. I think I'm number 3 in the area in the blog system, and the other 2 people that are ahead of me, I think, one of them is a lender and something else, and I mean they're extremely active. They're extremely active. And there are people that are higher than I am that are, in our area here in Los Angeles County. I mean, I've never spent $1 on that. I mean, if you do what I'm telling you to do right now, what's the key to social media? The key to social media is the same thing as working your database. The same thing as working anything else. It's consistency. But let me tell you, the real key is social media. The real key to social media is to take your online friends, prospects, and turn them into offline connections. Turn them into offline connections. So what do I mean by that? I mean, we all, for those of us here that just mentioned that you're my Facebook friend. So that means that more than likely, your Facebook friends, we're friends with some of the same people. So we're all doing the same posts. There are people checking us out. They're just looking at our posts. They're just looking at whatever we do, right? What if you went to some of those people and are your friends on Facebook that you've never met, and you've got these 1,500, 2,000 friends, which really is more of a people forum for you? What if you were to send them a note in their inbox describing exactly what you do? What if you were to maybe offer or take one of them out to coffee just to strengthen a relationship, right? What if you were to take them offline? After you do that, what if you then put them into your contact management system and you put them on one of your campaigns? Your 8x8, your 33 touch, or whatever else that you decide to do. Now, when you're online, they're online getting my stuff, her stuff, her stuff. They're getting everybody's stuff, but you're building a connection, a relationship with them offline. So when it's time for them to do something with real estate, realistically, who are they going to have more of a personal connection with? They're going to have more of a personal connection with you. They're going to have a more personal connection with you with that. Your IDX system. How many of us have listing books, HBMs? We've got everybody on an IDX system. Anybody? You guys are using IDX systems, right? Yeah. Right. You know, that's pretty much a must. Using an IDX system. How many of you guys have an IDX system? You have people in your system that are getting listings and getting stuff and information from you, every day, every week, and you have never talked to them. You don't know who they are. So basically they're providing, and we're providing, free information to these people with nothing in return. So let me ask you this. You've never spoken to them. You don't know them, but they're getting your information. Do you think you're the only person that they're in listing book with? Now, I know listing book only takes one, email, etc. Right. Okay, but what about the person like me that has 6 emails? I can get six listing books. Why would people do that? Why do they go to other people? Because they think we're lying. They don't think we're telling the truth. They know that this person has more information and more listings than this person. They know that you got a secret. You got more foreclosures. They know that you got more. They do not believe that we all have the same systems. So again, if you have people in your IDX system, you've got people that are getting information from you. You need to develop a relationship with them as well. You develop a relationship with them. You talk to them. You follow up with them. Hopefully, you put them in your database. You put them in a system of some sort, so that you can, that you can cultivate and generate those leads. I'll tell you one other thing about social media here as we move into closing. Remember this, just like you guys do. I'm assuming if you were to go buy a widescreen TV right now, and you knew you wanted to buy the widescreen TV from Best Buy. Do you generally go into Best Buy first, or do you at least check it out online and check Best Buy out online first? Online. You check it out online. You may not buy it online, but you look at it and you research it online. You go to the doctor, they want to give you some new dope. You research the dope before you take it, don't you? Yes. Especially if it makes you feel weird. Everybody goes online and researches. They may not buy, so they may not buy it online, but do you think right now that they go and they research you? They might not tell you. They may not register, they may not log in, but they look at you. So I would just say this to all of my realtor friends. When you're on Facebook and you're trying to develop that professional attire, that professional relationship, and they click on your photos and they see you in the drunk pose at the realtor party, and you've been in the house and you tell them that you got these great Christian values, and I'm this, that, and the other. They click on Facebook and you're in the hot tub with 3 girls, and your relationship says it's complicated. I'm just saying. You might understand, it might want to work, that everything you're doing, they're watching. They're watching. How many people are you losing that you never met? Just a thought. So in conclusion, we've talked about our personal database. We've talked about making personal contact with people. We talked about our social media and taking our social media contacts not only online but offline. We looked at some things with our website, search engines and stuff as far as your IDX systems and following up with these people and making calls as well. So in closing, a couple things that I always like to say. And number one is, it really is a good life. And life is precious. It's precious to all of us. Please try to keep in forefront the things that are most important to you. And remember that no matter what you're going through right now, it's just a temporary condition. And it truly is a great life. And God bless everybody, and thank you for your time.